Hey there, welcome to this week's Rise Above Noise. Each week, I have the honor of shining a spotlight on someone in the Rise Above Noise community who's making a real difference, who's helping others with their own business growth. Well, before we get started, if you haven't met me yet, I am Susan Finn. I am a digital marketing strategist with Rise Above Noise, where for the past 15 years, I've been working with transformation creators. That would be energy healers, light workers, coaches, creatives, teachers, to guide them with their personal roadmap in their own digital marketing journey. Together, we create your own system for showing up in a way that feels generous and it feels in service, so that you're going to end up showing up with more consistency. And that way, people who are already searching for you and what you have to offer can find you more easily. Your business is going to grow with flow and joy and ease. You see, I believe that when you do marketing, you reach people. That's what it's about. So this week's guest is Isis Latham. She is a teacher, a networker, and a financial Mary Poppins. Everything Isis does is focused on helping people understand their true worth. Isis and I connected over our mutual love of networking, of building relationships based on how we can be of service to others. I think you're going to enjoy this conversation, which focused on how we can step into our true value. Let's not wait any longer. Let's get right to it. And it's official. Here we are for another Rise Above Noise Spotlight, which is my favorite time of the week. You guys know that by now because I'm a connector and I love shining the spotlight for you on people who can help you grow your business or make changes in your life that will help you become happier or more profitable or calmer or whatever it is you're needing. Rise Above Noise and the Rise Above Noise community has everything you need in there. And so I'm really excited to talk today to Isis about networking and profitability. But as I do, before I do that, I want to kind of give us a starting point. So I'm going to share my screen very quickly. If you're listening on a podcast, don't worry about it. You can grab it from the show notes and you can just listen along because it's pretty self-explanatory. The Rise Above Noise system has 5 pillars, and they're not necessarily sequential, but 5 pedestals, pillars, boxes, whatever you want to call them, all of them tie in together so that when you as a business owner are ready to show up, you're going to do it within your own core values, within your deepest why. So, and you want to stay there so that you can master your time. Time and energy are our only true currency. I'm sure of that. We can make money, but time and energy is what we need to take care of. You want to gain control of your messaging so that it aligns, and then you attract the clients who are most needing to hear from you. So the Rise Above Noise pillars, the first one are your core values, your why, your mission, your non-negotiables, and your ideal clients. Who are you here to help? What's the problem that you solve, and how do they feel afterwards? Then you want to create compelling content, and we've gone over that in other spotlights. Frequently asked questions is probably one of my favorite. Storytelling is a good one. How do you create compelling content? How do you offer proof of concept, which basically says, look, I get you. I know the problem that you're having. I understand your challenges. I've helped people just like you. Here's how I do it, and here's what they had to say. So it's testimonials, case studies, and storytelling to really show that you do know about the person who's reading this, right? Like, you got to stop the scroll and people are only looking for themselves. So that's proof of concept. My friends, you need to organize and schedule yourself. Otherwise, everything feels too chaotic. And that's what I like about the Rise Above Noise system that I put together is it gives you a roadmap so that you can focus your time and energy to do the things that are going to move the dial. And I'm looking forward to speaking to Isis today on some of that moving the dial, right? And because we're going to be talking about networking. So in the fifth pillar is keep in touch. Of course, you guys know I'm all about email marketing and inviting people to get on your list so that you can generously and consistently show up for them with the information that they need to solve their problems in the smaller ways. When they need to go big on their problems, then they can call you. But in the meantime, you're being generous and keeping in touch, and networking will go hand in hand. So that's what we're going to be focusing on today, so that when you do this type of marketing, the Rise Above Noise process, it's so that you're protecting your energy and aligning with clients so that you can be of service. You're not going to waste your time. You're not going to waste your energy. It's just too valuable. So in talking today, I'm going to stop sharing and come back here. So I'm really excited to talk with Isis today. We connected through the Rise Above Noise community, and I'm blown away with how she uses her community to make real connections so that she can help solve problems, but also the people in her community can help solve problems and gain clarity and gain clients and, of course, become profitable. So I'm searching my screens and I'm going to find my notes. She said optimistically, I've got them, no worries. Okay, here we go. So here we go. Isis Latham is a teacher, a networker, and a financial Mary Poppins. Everything she does is about building personal relationships. Her work is focused on finding financial solutions, mentoring, and growing her team of talented financial reps. She likes to light up other businesses through meaningful networking at her website, www.evobizdevo.com. I'll put that in the show notes. You'll find quickly that she's about family. She has a keen eye for fashion. She gets pretty animated when it's time to learn about something new. Hallelujah to that. And no matter your age, stage, or dilemma, she would love to have a conversation and get you as excited about the future as she is. When I asked Isis what her superpower is, she said that it's helping people write their money story. And she says it's the money story that's worth living. I'm so glad that you're here today, Isis. I'd love to know more about your superpower before we kind of get started. How did you figure out that's your superpower?
Well, it's funny, you don't really know what your superpower is oftentimes until somebody else starts to point it out. And you see it happening over and over and over. And really why I ended up getting into finance as a choice was I was looking to find the hero in my own story. And I kept on looking for somebody else to play that hero and kept on thinking that there was, they were going to come and save me. I was going to get a windfall. This was going to happen. That was going to happen. And one day I was looking in the mirror and I had been driving a school bus. I was sewing at night. I made beautiful, beautiful garments. And I was exhausted. I was so worn out and so tired. And I just felt like if I spend the second half of my life living the way I am right now, I am going to not have lived a life worth living. And it wasn't because I wasn't a great mom. It wasn't because I wasn't a great wife. I was doing all of these things for other people, but I wasn't developing my own story. Something that I could say, this is me, and this is what I overcame, and this is what I've become. And for me, that missing link was money. My husband and I didn't fight about anything but money. We could come to an agreement on anything except for money. And it was this feeling of stress that was always hanging over us. And it was where my head was at when I was talking with my children. You know, children innocently just say, oh, can I have this? Can I have that? Right? And we become anxious and fearful how we're going to respond to that. And then we're responding out of that. So why does this have anything to do with our topic today? Because we're really talking about networking and building relationships and creating a platform where we can always have abundance. And it's because whatever is going on in that way inside of your life, you're going to bring it with you, right? So I decided to take ownership of finances so that I could become the hero of my own story. But at the same time, I brought all of that negative old thinking and baggage into the new story I was writing. And so there's this constant balance of I need to change the technical functions, right? Know the laws, know and understand how they apply to whatever it is you're doing. And I'm not talking about like the laws as in like, you know, don't steal. I'm talking about the laws of compensation, the laws of earning power, things like that. And then you internally have to catch up. And so we talk a lot about, I know I got into this rut. I'm just waking up every day and I'm doing the same thing over and over and over. When will I really become profitable?
I think so many people can relate to what you just said, right? It's just that we're here, right? Time and energy are our only true currency. We're here for whatever time we're here, and that we should have a life worth living. It shouldn't be a drudge. Assuming everything is okay and assuming that we can do, but it's not easy, right? It's building a business is not easy. Being an entrepreneur is not easy, but taking control of your own time and of your own earning potential can be very powerful.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I started working with business owners. They became my clients. We are drawn to exactly what we need for healing, right? So I had ended up in that position driving the school bus because I had been up until 2008 when the housing mortgage crisis came along. I was a bootstrapping girl. You put any challenge in front of me and I would overcome it. I said, I want to start a childcare. I started a childcare. I said, I want to start a toy store. I started a toy store. I said, I want to start a clothing boutique. I did it. I didn't know anything about merchandising. I didn't know how to find the shows and go and buy. I remember the first time I went to New York City and went to the toy fair. I was so overwhelmed. First off, like just getting to the toy fair, that's like a hike and a half. And then once you're inside it, you're like, oh my gosh, what, and you're thinking, I don't have millions of dollars to spend here, but I'm excited. And so you're taking in all that information and you're trying and you're developing new skills. And so why can't we become profitable? And so I started to realize it has to do with how you feel about yourself. I was profitable back then, right? Because I felt like I could do it. I could hike into that toy fair. I could make those decisions. But as I got a little bit older, I got tired and I started questioning myself. And that's why knowing your worth is so important.
Well, okay, knowing your worth. Tell me more about what that means to you.
Yeah. Knowing your worth is recognizing that you may have to change on the outside. You may have to change on the inside, but ultimately, those are your roles. That is the way we show up in life. Because I want you to picture, you have a grandbaby, right, Susan? I have a grandbaby too. That grandbaby of mine and yours, they are absolutely perfect. Whether they know how to walk, whether they know how to run, whether they're feeding themselves all on their own, whether they stay neat and tidy, right? They are absolute perfection.
Got that right.
Every one of us started off that way. That's who we still are. And so we need to recognize our identity and recognize that our identity is an absolute stellar 10. It's just we got kicked around and beat up and we got tired and we started to believe that our role in life defines who we are. And we start pricing ourselves, we start accepting income, we start building a business based on role. I'm not saying, right, that you don't have to, like, you know, put on the blazer and show up. You know, if anybody's watched me over the last 2 years has seen the interchanges are coming out on the outside now. But it all started with believing I was worthwhile.
Well, I think that's so right. So mindset is such a big deal, and especially money mindset, which I know I've had trouble with as well. And knowing your own worth, I think that could be a little more challenging, but well, we can pivot this, right? So let's talk then about the next part of it. Like, you know your worth, and you know you've got to get out there to build your business. And so now you've got to put that face and that energy in front of other people. So because, right, nobody's going to grow a business without people. So you have to get in front of people. So we talk about networking. Tell me, I have my own ideas, but tell me what the difference was when you had this realization of your worth, and maybe it's money worth, or maybe it's just as a human worth, right? Both. Then you step into a networking situation. I think that can be powerful. I'd love to hear your take on that.
So there's two things that you said there, and I have to address both of them, even though they're kind of different. Like they're different. They're not really linked necessarily, but I am made up of energy, right?
As we all are.
And so energy is what money is. Money is just a way of creating some sort of value for that energy. So my worth and money, they are synonymous, actually. I can draw more to me, or, and it's happened before, right? You can experience these lows in your life where you will repel money. You will manage to get rid of it somehow by the things that we allow into our life. So money is energy. So I am a conduit for it. You are too. And then once I determine that that is indeed true, well, then the next thing is, and this is just a law, right? Like, I will be like the people I spend time with. So if I want to be a successful business owner who is worth a lot financially, then I need to go and spend my time with people like that. What better place to do that than in a networking environment where we know the rules, and the rules say we have value, we bring value to the table, we have services, goods, products, whatever it is, and we deserve the opportunity to share about that. And then I see all of those faces reflected back, mirroring what they see. That's how you raise that level. And it gives proof.
It's so true. The power that we have as a community. When I started the Women's Business Network of Southeastern Massachusetts, I don't even remember how many years ago it was. Well, my son's 24, he was 5. So that many years, 19 years ago. I did it just because, oh, we should do something. But to your point, the time that I spent as the director there, over 12 years as the director, knowing that we were all lifting each other up, it opened doors in my mind, of course, my business too, but doors in my mind that I didn't even know I had closed. I didn't know the limiting beliefs I had set for myself. And of course, then I had coaching too. I was in Fabienne Fredrickson's Bold Heart group for a while and Dolores's group, and a lot of mindset. It's like business is business. You can do the things, but once you understand exactly what you just said, Isis, that we're made of energy, we're all energy, and it's how we attract energy and how we spend our energy with strategy that's going to make a big difference. But that's a hard concept to grasp, right? Like it sounds a little woo. I'm all over woo. I live woo, but it's hard, I think, to grasp until you've experienced it.
Well, and you said something really interesting when you said you were participating in these coaching experiences. And I would guess that you would have been a little bit less likely to engage in those coaching experiences if you weren't already engaging in a community that says this is valuable.
Spot on.
So
Spot on.
we start to believe what the group says, and we get to choose the group we're in. If we're in a group that says, you know, it's 9 to 5, it's the drudgery, another day, another dollar, oh, I'm living the dream, right? Then you start to believe that that's normal. And even if you resist it, that energy is pulling you towards it. But if you're part of a group that says, I make my own decisions, I live a life of freedom, I am independent, I build my own opportunity, I've created equity in this world, I am a woman and I deserve to be able to rise up to my greatest achievements and standards and expectations.
Right. And I love how you said, surround yourself with people who have that also as their, right. And now there's a lot more of those communities available. I just hung up from a very energetic call with Success Champions Network, which I highly recommend if people haven't checked it out. Their main coach is Donnie Boyven, does a weekly like business coaching, right? Like the nuts and bolts, but the positive energy. And I know that you have a Facebook group and a networking group that's very powerful around these ideas too. Evo Biz. Evo Biz Devo. And I'm going to put the link.
Evo Biz Devo people.
Yes, if you're listening. And know that we went live in that group today, which is kind of fun that I figured that part out. I'm going to put that link in the Rise Above Noise. And then in the Rise Above Noise Facebook group. And then also when we have the Rise Together membership group, which is on hiatus right now, it's exactly what you're talking about. And you see that a lot of different places. Like, don't spend your time with people who are going to suck your energy or your time. Those are your biggest, that's your biggest assets. But I know that before we have to go, and the time is going so quickly, I'd love for you to, you can quickly tell us about the work that you do in your, I see all your signs and the dollar team and all the awards that you've gotten. Tell us how it is that you're supporting.
Well, I talked about the attitude, right? But attitude without action becomes a lie, right? Because we cannot believe it if we've not taken action that supports that. So it all has to work back together. So I started off by saying we get into a rut because life starts getting sucked out of us. We've been kicked around, we've been beat up by experiences. So we have to say, okay, well, here I know these truths to be true. And so I'm going to change the way I believe and the way I think. I'm going to change my attitude and change my environment. But please don't think that that will last unless you take action. And so we have to do the work that's going to get the results we want. So my gift to every one of you is twofold. First, I want you to come to a workshop that Susan and I are going to be putting on together called Know Your Worth. And all you have to do, and it's going to be in the show notes, is text Susan. Now remember, Susan is a woman's name, so it's capitalized. Text Susan to myself, 603-686-7715. And that will secure your seat at Know Your Worth workshop. All you have to do is just RSVP for Evolution Business Development, and that will make it happen. The next thing, if you are daring enough to try, which is what I walk all my clients through, you're going to take a workbook that I've put together that is a free download, and it will give you a working budget. It is exactly the same budget that I use with every one of my clients, and it has current and future. And if you don't know why I put current and future in, then when you go to text your Susan to my landing page, I want you to go on and schedule some time to talk with me. It will be complimentary. And the reason it's so important is because I want you to think about money in a way that brings you joy, that creates a money story that's exciting and valuable to you, that you feel is worthy of you. And I can help you to do that.
That's awesome. I keep putting myself on mute. I just want to let you know because I have a howling puppy downstairs. This is so good. I put all of those, I put that in the notes. You get a free workbook if you dare. And also text the word Susan to that cell number that I've shared for a seat at our workshop, which is 2 weeks. Well, it's a week from Tuesday. Is that correct?
It is.
Yeah,
Oh,
we
I
should
wrote
probably
down
know
the date.
that.
It's on the 26th, 12 to
26th.
1. Know Your Worth workshop, April 26th, 12 to 1.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. It's going to be great.
Yeah.
And schedule a call with Isis. I love what she said. I wrote it down. Think of money in a way that brings you joy. And I do, I had money issues, of course. My parents brought me up with like, oh, we never have enough. We never have enough. And what I realize now is it's not a dirty, icky thing, right? When I bring in more, as you said, it's energy, then that's energy I can spend elsewhere. And it can be as for nonprofits or to supports being with my family, because we're kind of spread out. If we can be together at an Airbnb, as we did this past December, all of us, when you have 4 kids, it's not easy to pull everybody together, but those are the things that we can do when we're in control.
Yeah.
Is there anything else before we go that you'd like to share, Isis?
I just want to say thank you. Thanks for the opportunity. Thanks for being who you are and drawing out the best in people. You help people to create clarity of their message, both in written word and in how they show up. But you also help it in how we show up in these lives. I've been able to witness a number of times and just how people are relaxed around you and they're at ease.
That's very kind of you. Thank you for that.
Your pup says so too.
My puppy's like, time to go. So good. Thank you so much, Isis.
Thank you.
So there you have it. I hope you enjoyed this week's Rise Above Noise Spotlight. Our Rise Above Noise community is really revolutionizing how service professionals show up in their marketing to make a real difference in the world. Marketing is what helps your business grow. I think that you can see that Isis has grown a career and a community based upon her deep commitment to shining a spotlight on every person's true value. In her Evolution Business Development Group, she creates a space for community connections and growth opportunities. I believe that now more than ever. Our world needs our transformation creators to be successful in their ventures, to show up in service and make a real difference in our world. Thank you for joining us today. I look forward to seeing you in our Rise Above Noise community and sharing the next Rise Above Noise spotlight.